born in Canada and then moved to the United States when you're a little kid. This is my life story. I was born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and that's where this story starts. Well, we first moved to the USA, all the way from Canada. And we drove across the continent, from Nova Scotia to Pasadena.
Thank you.
My sister and me and my mom and dad, from the cold to the sunny south. There were palm trees growing, it was not snowing. I never did shut my mouth. Drove on over to the courthouse, downtown Los Angeles. Put our hands on a Bible, we swore as a family we were not communists. When we drove away, I started to cry. They said, "What's wrong, son, are you sick?" I said, "I don't want to be an American, I want to be a Catholic." We talked Hollywood and baseball in the car. The voice of Vin Scully, oh man, it would travel really far. Vin Scully, ladies and gentlemen, probably, oh my God, one of my all-time favorite baseball announcers. I loved Vin Scully. When he would call the games, his voice was reedy and tenoresque and peacified. It would make me feel very docile, like the way a baby kitten does when a mom cat grabs it by the neck and pulls it up. I would listen to Vin Scully's voice when he called the games, and this is what he sounded like. There's an eerie spiderweb shadow coming into Chavez Ravine. Sandy Koufax walks out to the mound, and he's up to his hips in alligators. 2-2 to Harvey Keene. Oh, man. I would listen to that, and I would say to my dad, "Are there really alligators on the field?" This next song talks about making my first communion in the Catholic Church. Did anybody here ever do that? Really? Or are you lying? Because they tell you when you make your first communion that you're gonna eat Jesus' body, and I wanted his leg because I like the dark meat. Now I made my first communion in St. Rita's Catholic Church. There was incense choking and a priest was smoking, a choir up in the perch. My face got red and my stomach felt bad. They said, "If you're gonna get sick, use a cup." Well, I thought by the time it was my turn for communion, Jesus would be all eaten up. We talked Hollywood and baseball in the car. The voice of Jack Buck, man, it would travel really far. Oh my God, Jack Buck. I love that dude's voice. I gotta tell you, I was on tour once with Jewel, and I was at the top of the St. Louis Arch, and we got a private tour because it was at the height of Jewel's fame. And she got a call from her publicist, and the publicist said, "Jewel, Mark McGwire wants to meet you." And it was during the home run race with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. And Jewel looked at me and she said, "Who's Mark McGwire?" And I said to her, "Who's Mark McGwire? Are you kidding me? He's only going for the home run record of Roger Maris of 61 home runs in 1961 when he beat Babe Ruth's record." And then she goes to me, "Well, do you want to meet him?" And I said, "No, I want to meet Jack Buck." Because I love Jack Buck's voice, right? And so she says to me, "Well, go down and meet Mark McGwire and tell me if it's safe for me to go down there." So she sends me down like I'm Robert Duvall in The Godfather 2, like her consigliere. So I go down and Mark McGwire is waiting for Jewel. And he sees me and he's like, "What's this idiot doing here?" And I go, "Mark, my name is Steve Poltz. Jewel sent me down to see if you were nice, and you seem really nice, but I really want to meet Jack Buck because I love his voice." And he says, "I'll bring you out to meet Jack Buck if you get me Jewel." So I pimped out Jewel so I could meet Jack Buck. So I meet Jack Buck, and he gives me his autograph, and his voice was so different than Vin Scully's. His voice was peacified and tenoresque. But Jack Buck's voice, it sounded like a Cuban auto mechanic in Havana stuck his fingers down Jack Buck's throat and ripped them out while they were still bleeding his vocal cords, and then he dropped them in a glass of rum and blew Cuban cigar smoke on them, and then took a dirty needle and had a veterinarian sew them back in. That's what Jack Buck's voice sounded like to me. Can I get a hallelujah on that one?
Hallelujah!
This is what he sounded like to me.
Up in the bottom of the ninth inning, Mark McGwire going after the home run record of Roger Maris of 61 home runs in 1961. I don't believe what I just saw.
You have no idea how bad that hurts my voice. But I said to myself, I'm gonna ruin my voice tonight because this is Moccasin Creek. Screw my voice. This is already the greatest show I'll ever play. I don't care if tomorrow it hurts. All right, now everything in this next verse is true, especially the part about Elvis Presley putting me on his shoulders. This is pretty fun. Now my allergies were bad, so we moved to the desert to a city called Palm Springs. We trick-or-treated at Liberace's house. Each finger had a diamond ring. We met Elvis Presley in the middle of the summer, and he hugged my sister for far too long. I felt kind of weird, but I would have pimped her out just to hear him sing a song. Hollywood and baseball in the car. The voice of, let's see who I can talk about next. The voice of Harry Carey. Man, it will always travel really far. What I liked about Harry Carey is he used to be the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals, but then he slept with Augie Bush's wife. So they sent him to Chicago. So he went to Chicago. Now Harry Carey, when he would call the games, he would get really drunk. And he could never pronounce the Hispanic player's name, like anybody from the Dominican Republic. Like say, the Cubbies were playing the Cincinnati Reds, and it might have been the 70s, and so maybe Davey Concepcion's coming up to bat. This is what Harry Carey sounded like.
Come up the top of the line city. Dino Consiglione. Get your old style here. Holy cow.
God bless Harry Carey. Now here I am, a growing up boy at home on the 4th of July, staring out at the ocean and the fireworks in the sky. I miss my friends who aren't around, the ones who passed away. Now I'm feeling kinda grateful here on Independence Day. Hollywood and baseball in the car. The voice of Elvis Presley, man, it'll always travel really far. I get allergies and asthma in the yard, and no one ever told me growing up would be so hard. And the Padres win the pennant. Oh, doctor!